it can take ages. It can take so much time to get deals across to contract signature. And I've seen it, and I've picked up contracts that have been sat there for 2 years. And the crazy part of it is when I actually look through it, I don't see why they're still sat there. And
you don't know what the
in
background
that,
is.
well, not no, and I'll drop the bombshell, the proverbial bombshell here. In that, I don't see what the problem is because the contracts are good to go. Someone's made a judgment call. Who's it? Typically, and this is in the consulting world, that's a permanent employee who probably hasn't been empowered enough or doesn't actually have the right capability, their understanding of it, and they've just ended up sitting on things. And I see this a lot where in my travels, and there might just be a few points that need a bit of work. And typically, what it comes down to is procurement teams that don't use legal, and they might not be able to use legal because they don't have enough of legal resource within the business, or they don't want to use third party, which, and who I get that, like,
They're expensive.
100%. Yeah, and they can actually make it far more difficult. I think a good procurement person should have a good legal understanding, and that's kind of how I view it. But just, I don't know, when I see these examples popping up, I kind of look to the skill sets of people, and that they don't necessarily have the breadth of skill sets to enable them to cover the complete procurement cycle, in that they might be good at doing a lot of the process, the manual labor element of getting the procurement ready. So building the requirement, building the evaluation criteria. But as soon as it goes out to market and then comes back in and they have to evaluate it, and then maybe there's some points they need to pick up on with the supplier, negotiate, sort the contract out, it falls down. And that's where I see all the delays, is at that point. Normally once it's been out to market and come back. I don't know, it'd just be cool to, I don't know what your experiences are of any of this. I mean, I just think it's a capability issue from procurement.
So I've seen procurement guys who've been doing the postman job for many years, right?
Yeah.
Give it to them, give it back to me. I give it to supplier. It's like you're the
That's it.
middleman between supplier and the other guys, and you're kind of,
Yeah.
or maybe a project manager, right? So
Yeah,
you're not
normally. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's not the way to do procurement, according to me. Okay, I've seen folks who moved from paralegal. Okay, they were part of the legal team or
Yeah.
the support functions, move to procurement, do wonders.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Because they've honed the skill of negotiation, the procurement, the commercial side. They already had the legal background, so they're like a force to reckon with. The suppliers don't want to fool around with them. I've got live examples as such. And as you said, I definitely think procurement should have. Now it depends on the organization too, right? Like the defense example that you talked, they have to depend on legal because there may be a lot of nitty-gritties that you don't know about. But I remember working with a very good leader from the States when I'm working for an organization. They had this a kind of a procurement playbook that was just thick, contract playbook. Okay, so everybody goes by the playbook, which was telling which clause needs to come to them as a contract management team, which clause needs to go to legal. So they had a separate legal team for the issues, right? A lot of litigation and things like that. So that kind of a structure would ease out things, and I'm sure it helped them reduce the cost of legal as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Having those, like you say, almost like a contract bible or like a clause library and things like that say this is where you can move if the supplier pushes back. If it moves beyond this point, seek legal help.
If he pushes back, you use this clause. Yeah,
that's
if
it.
If he pushes back, you use this clause. If he's again asking for a change, you come to me. Also,
that's it.
Or else you go to guy in indemnity department. Only the manager's indemnity. So the expert of indemnity clauses is a separate lawyer. So things like that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've seen them. I've built them. I've seen them used, and I think it, like you say, it helps people that don't have that skill set to make empowered decisions because it's right in front of them, and it gives them I was going to say the ammunition. It just gives them the ability to actually seek out additional help from the business if they followed that process. And it might sound like it's a long-winded process. It's not. It's, I just changed this contract clause, copy and paste it into the contract, ping it back out, And if it comes back and they don't like it, well, it's going to legal now, or it's going to the specialist contract manager.
Absolutely. And now we're talking about this, assuming that there is no system. But if you had a system, you don't need the playbook, right?
Yeah.
In the system, you put in these clauses. Once the procurement guy or the sourcing guy changes the clause, the approval gets triggered to that indemnity guy automatically. So I can have that condition built in the system. So approval goes to him. He says, okay, Karthik, why is this happening? Okay, let's change it to this, or let's have a call with the supplier, or whatever it is. So
yeah,
that's how it happens automatically to the system.
Yeah,
but
and
unfortunately,
No, go. I'm just getting excited.
Unfortunately, what's happening is, unfortunately, I see a lot of companies have a procurement system or contract management system, but it's again that covered that they're putting the, instead of putting it in the file cabinet, the hard copy, they're putting it in the cupboard and they're leaving it there. So they're not utilizing all the functions of the contract management system. Certain things is, there is a need for the contract management systems to also tweak themselves to the customer needs to some extent. Okay, and legal is usually very heavy-handed on using technology. That's something that we have to agree to no matter what. So it's very difficult to make them accept the change. So if you want to include contracts and have legal come on board, so it's definitely imperative to have them understand the value drivers, the value proposition from the beginning, get a buy-in right at the beginning of, even before you take the tool.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen such strong legal heads who just outright come in between the project after you bought the license, saying that you do whatever with it as procurement. I'm not going to put my finger in this too.
Yeah.
So procurement literally comes still finalizing the commercial part, then they send an email to legal. So I've seen those cases as well.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
You've come full circle in a way, haven't you? In that, what you're saying here is legal. Everyone, they're key stakeholders. They're your internal business partners. Even if the legal team is a third-party supplier, actually, they might still need. If you think you're going to need to use them, bring them in early on, just to say, this is what we're doing. This is our drivers. This is what we're trying to achieve. Some of your typical way of contracting might not be so suitable here. We'll let you obviously make the decision on that, but we probably don't need to be so aggressive on these areas because of this. And if you've had that conversation as per any of your conversations with your stakeholders, you're winning. You've won that pre-contract, pre-signature contract stage.
Absolutely. And we keep tying back to, I keep showing my cupboard and putting the contracts in place.
It's good.
but
anyone?
There are a lot of contracts in there already.
Oh, really? I was about to say, anyone listening to this without the video is going to be wondering what the hell we're talking about when you're just pulling over to your wardrobe, your cupboard there. It's fine. Like this is the joys of it. This is meant to be a video first and foremost. So we're doing it. Karthik, I think it might be good to like end it here, but I would love to do this again with you, because I think when we talk, we've got a lot to talk about. And I don't shut up.
It's just extempore. What I see is we just talk anything without. We don't need to plan. We just talk stuff out. That's it.
But I think that is we're gonna be bragging a bit, but I think it's a good skill set. The fact that we effectively don't plan our conversations. We just jump on. We talk about stuff that we've experienced or our thoughts around how things can change. I think that is a level which, anyone in this profession, they should be able to talk about something with ease, with no prep. And I think it's good that we can do this on a topic that doesn't get much press, like contract management. Everyone hates it for some reason, and it's
one of the driest subjects. One of the driest subjects I've seen, and I've tried a lot. I've had at least 66 batches that I trained contract management 101.
Oh, wow.
And it's young kids who just out of college. They're old guys who've been working for 12 years. And it's such a dry subject to make them understand what is indemnity or whatever. It's like banging your head to the wall.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think, I'm not a big fan of the current approach to content, to knowledge in procurement, contract management. I think supply chain as a profession wider, it's got far better content. There's a lot more around the logistic warehousing. It's just a bit sexier. Like people are talking about drones, automated delivery. It's like, it's just sexier. This area is dry for so many, and I'm hoping in this conversation we've not made it too dry. Like I think we're trying to make it a lot better. I'm trying to just illustrate how like it can make so much more value. If you're a good contract manager, you're going to have a job for so long. I think above and beyond so many procurement professionals who are going to be out of the job when all these technologies come in, because you're not going to need that buyer. You're not going to need procurement managers who are just rubber stamping the work the buyers are doing, because that's going to be taken care of. Like you said, you're working at a blockchain company now. Like they will take over. That software will take over the role of so many people, and your skill set needs to be so much more now. Kartik, it's been good chatting to you. Let's end it here. Let's talk soon though. Like I really want to talk soon on this. It's been a pleasure chatting to you.